The scene opens with a dark background. The words "the human body versus nuclear explosion, a simulation" appear in bold letters across the screen. The text fades out, revealing a sleek, futuristic simulation room with holographic screens displaying human anatomy. Welcome to a simulation designed to explore the human body's response to a nuclear explosion. In this simulation, we will witness how a nuclear detonation affects the body, from the first flash of light to the lasting effects of radiation. As we journey through each phase of this catastrophic event, we will break down the science behind it and show how the human body, though resilient, is no match for the power unleashed in a nuclear explosion. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe this channel. The camera zooms into a human figure projected in the center of the simulation room. The body is digitally displayed standing in an open field. The human body, in its remarkable complexity, is designed to withstand many of nature's challenges. But even the strongest among us would struggle to survive the overwhelming forces generated by a nuclear blast. The screen switches to a high-definition 3D animation of a nuclear bomb exploding in a desert. The animation shows the fission process, the release of energy, and the explosive aftermath. When a nuclear bomb detonates, a chain reaction occurs at the atomic level. Fission, the splitting of atomic nuclei, releases a colossal amount of energy in the form of heat, light, and radiation. This energy is unleashed in mere milliseconds, creating a fireball, a shockwave, and a dangerous cloud of radioactive fallout. The camera shows the mushroom cloud rising into the sky, followed by a massive shockwave expanding outward. The explosion is so powerful that it can vaporize everything in its immediate vicinity. The heat, shockwaves, and radiation work together, causing devastating effects far beyond the epicenter. Cut to the human model, now placed several miles away from the explosion's epicenter. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light fills the screen. The first immediate effect of a nuclear explosion is the flash of light. This burst is many times brighter than the sun and can blind anyone who sees it within miles of the blast. The human model reacts, with the skin turning red and blisters forming on exposed areas. The eyes are visibly damaged by the flash. The flash also produces intense heat. Those within range experience severe burns on exposed skin. Second-degree and third-degree burns form in a fraction of a second. The skin begins to blister, and tissue damage is irreversible. The human model's face shows severe damage, with eyes beginning to melt from the extreme radiation. The heat is so extreme that it can cause permanent damage to the eyes, effectively blinding anyone within a significant radius. The skin, muscles, and organs are all vulnerable to this radiant heat, making survival near impossible at close distances. The camera pans to show the shockwave propagating outward from the explosion, reaching the human model. After the flash of light and heat, the shockwave follows almost immediately. This pressure wave moves at speeds faster than the speed of sound, causing immense destruction along its path. The shockwave hits the human figure, sending the body flying backward as bones crack and internal organs are injured. The camera zooms in to show ribs breaking and internal bleeding. The shockwave generates an almost unbearable force on the body. The sudden pressure causes fractures in bones and tears in internal organs. The human body, unprotected, is unable to withstand such a powerful force. Internal bleeding occurs, and critical organs, such as the lungs and heart, are severely damaged. The body falls to the ground, unmoving. The shockwave is deadly, capable of killing even those who are not directly struck by the explosion but are in its vicinity. The scene changes to show the release of ionizing radiation from the explosion. The body begins to glow faintly as radiation particles enter the system. Along with the explosion, a nuclear detonation releases intense ionizing radiation. Gamma rays and neutrons are emitted, penetrating the body and damaging cells at a molecular level. The human model is shown affected by radiation. Skin deteriorates, blood vessels collapse, and organs begin to fail. Cells within the body start to die off. Radiation exposure causes immediate damage to cells, tissues, and organs. The bone marrow, responsible for producing blood cells, is one of the most vulnerable areas. As the bone marrow is destroyed, the body loses its ability to fight infections and recover from injuries. The figure begins to exhibit signs of radiation sickness, severe nausea, vomiting, and physical weakness. Victims of radiation sickness experience a range of symptoms, including nausea, vomiting, and an overall breakdown of bodily functions. High doses of radiation can cause death within hours or days, depending on proximity to the blast. The screen transitions to show a post-explosion environment, a wasteland covered in radioactive fallout. The human model, now struggling to survive, attempts to seek shelter from the falling debris. Even for those who survived the initial explosion, the fallout remains a deadly threat. Fallout refers to the radioactive particles that settle from the sky, contaminating the environment for years to come. The figure is shown covered in dust, staggering as the body becomes weaker from ongoing radiation exposure. Fallout can cause ongoing radiation sickness, as radioactive particles continue to affect the body. Long-term effects include an increased risk of cancer, genetic mutations, and severe organ damage.